Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a new product that I'm putting on the website that will hopefully help a lot of you out trying to get your injectors to seal into the manifold on your D series, B series, I think H series, and some of the older F series engines, or any engine, any Honda engine that uses the lower rubber grommet. The little lower rubber grommet that I'm talking about looks something like this. So here is the little lower grommet that I'm talking about. And this little lower grommet sits down into your intake manifold on your D series or B series or any of the older 90s Honda engines. So the grommet sits down in here and your injector seals into the grommet like this. And if we take an injector, we can put the injector down into the seal like this. But sometimes on some injectors, the seal isn't really that tight, especially if they're older seals. They don't really hug the bottom of the injector all that tight. Some of the seals, you know, like if they're brand new and stuff like that, they'll hug the bottom of the injector a little bit better. But this is kind of an issue with a lot of aftermarket injectors that I see where you really have to kind of push the injector down into the grommet pretty far for the seal for it to seal good. Which, you know, is fine, it works. But sometimes with enough fuel pressure, if there's enough fuel pressure on the top, pushing down on the injector can actually continue pushing into that rubber grommet. And if you guys don't know, I sell the Hunter Tuned custom locking top hats for, you know, any 14mm injector O-ring. So like K series, like the RDX injectors and a lot of aftermarket injectors use a 14mm top O-ring. While a B series, D series, H series, all that, they use an 11mm O-ring on the top. So when you try to install the injector into the fuel rail, it doesn't fit. So if we take the injector and we put it into a D series fuel rail, you see it doesn't fit. And you need to convert the top of the injector down to a smaller O-ring, and that's what the Hunter Tuned, and there's a lot of other top hats out there. There's RDX top hats on eBay and all that kind of stuff. And I think there is actually a couple companies now selling locking top hats, but the top hat pretty much converts the injector down to the smaller O-ring here. And my top hats actually have a locking clip so the hat sits straight onto the injector and it's not, you know, crooked or anything like that, because if the top hat doesn't sit straight on the injector, it can end up leaking out of the side of the top hat. And I had a lot of that issue with the non-locking top hats when I was selling decapped injectors. That was kind of a big issue that I was having. So that's why I opted to start selling these locking style hats, and they've been awesome. I really enjoy them, and you guys have too. So like I said, that in itself will now fit into the fuel rail, and all is good. I think back in the day, we used to even take the, you know, regular decap truck injectors, and I would take the top 14mm O-ring off, and I would just put like 2 or 3 11mm O-rings on the top and jam it into the fuel rail. And sometimes you had to like grind the top of the injector. It was ghetto. But I mean, there's a lot of cars out there still running with like some ghetto shit like that. And you know, like I said, I'm just trying to, it's hard for me to like recommend doing stuff like that, but there's guys out there that make shit work, you know. But I'm trying to sell a solution that's kind of plug and play. You just kind of pop the hat on, it now is converted, and you can put it into the fuel rail. And like I said, this isn't like, I'm not trying to like plug my injectors or anything like that, but I'm just trying to offer solutions for you guys to help fit the injectors into the rail and now into the manifold better. So the top hats that I sell, like I said, work with a lot of aftermarket injectors, not just the Hunter Tuned ones. You can use these hats with a lot of different injectors out on the market now. And the same goes with the lower hats. So like I said, a lot of these aftermarket injectors, including like a lot of the Bosch 2200s and stuff like that, they all use a 14mm top O-ring, and they're also going to use a 14mm lower O-ring because these injectors are designed to have a O-ring style seal into the intake manifold. And you can't really seal the best with this grommet. So like I said, I came out with these little adapters, and they look something like this. So this is the lower top hat that I'm now offering on huntertune.com, and pretty much what this lower top hat is going to do is it's going to replace this factory grommet that I was just talking about on the lower seal here, and it's going to convert it over to utilize an O-ring, which in my opinion will probably seal quite a bit better than the lower grommet, and it will prevent the injector from wanting to push down into the grommet too far, like I was talking about earlier. When you shove this injector, if you have enough fuel pressure on it, it can actually push down into the grommet farther and end up popping out of the rail, causing a fuel leak and a fire hazard. So this kind of kills two birds with one stone. If you guys have bought my top hats in the past, I've actually included a 4-pack of 1/2-inch washers that actually seat at the bottom base of the injector, which prevent the injector from pushing down into the manifold too far. And I've had some questions in the past from guys that just haven't kept up with the videos and stuff like that to wonder what those were for. But pretty much the lower hat is going to sit on the base of the injector here, just like this, and it seals with an O-ring. So the lower top hat is pretty much going to sit on the base of the injector there, and it's going to seal with the lower O-ring that is on the injector. Like I said, this is common with, you know, like the decapped LS injectors normally come with that lower O-ring. A lot of injectors come with that lower O-ring. So this will allow an O-ring style seal into the bottom of the injector and into the intake manifold. So these guys will press. These guys will press into the intake manifold. And they are one tight fit, let me tell you. Honestly, they come with an O-ring, but I believe you can just press these things in and you don't even need to use the O-ring because it's that tight of a fit into the lower part of the intake manifold here. You could probably just take some sandpaper and scuff it down a little bit to get it to fit a little bit looser, but they're designed to be a really tight fit and almost like a press style fit. So I'm going to demonstrate installing one of them here into my D-Series intake manifold from Skunk 2 here, and then we're also going to test out a couple of them on a few different manifolds. So I just take a little pliers here and we can kind of just press this guy in, and you can see it seats in really tightly, really nice. Make sure it's even all the way around. And that's pretty much what the install is going to look like on this manifold, at least. And like I said, some of these manifolds, whether it's an aftermarket or a factory one, the tolerances are just going to be slightly different. So these lower hats are on the larger side of the tolerance, so you can always kind of sand them down a little bit where it seats into the manifold, or maybe just grease it up a little bit or do a press style fit into the manifold. And then, like I said, the injector will sit right into the base there, and you'll probably have to shim up the fuel rail a little bit to run these, but I do believe after you get everything shimmed up and the lower hats installed, this is going to be probably the safest kind of setup that is leak proof. I don't suspect any vacuum leaks, boost leaks, or fuel leaks on a style like this when the fuel rail and everything is shimmed properly. Just make sure not to crush the injector down too tight, or just make sure to have good spacing on your fuel rail so everything is all happy. This manifold's been collecting dust because my single cam build has been slightly delayed. The single cam build's been a little bit delayed because of the cylinder bores on the engine that I am using are a little bit out of round, and I was gonna just slap together the stock bore stuff, but it was actually really tight piston wall clearance, so I'm actually opting to do an overbore on the engine and get the cylinders nice and true. So hopefully the block will be back within like a week or so, and we can get back to building the single cam. I got it all notched and ready to go, but now it's back at the machine shop, and we're getting the cylinders bored out to make sure everything's going to be true and have proper piston to wall clearance. So like I said, some of these setups might require some shimming to the fuel rail. The fuel rail might sit a little bit higher than factory, and you're just going to have to figure out. I might try to offer a specific spacer setup for a certain setup, but it varies a lot between different manifolds and different fuel rails and stuff like that. So just getting like a pack of like small, you know, 6mm washers, or I think like the hardware store by me and a lot of places sell like actual spacers with a certain length that you can just kind of put in there, or you can stack up a lot of the factory spacers. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying with the current length injectors that I sell. You're going to have to space them up. But if you run like the shorter style injectors, like the LS3, I don't think you're going to need to do any spacing. This will actually kind of space it to a stock injector. But it's just, I'm still trying to figure out what the best setup's going to be to sell to you guys, and looking forward to some of your guys' feedback. I'm only selling them for 20 bucks, so if you guys want to try them out, those little lower top hat deals, I think it'll be a cool little you know, thing for guys to try out and get some feedback on. The injectors have been doing really good, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on those. So thank you guys for all the support on the injectors. I might be running a little flash sale too I might be running a little flash sale or something on my oil catch cans. So if you guys are on the website within the next couple days, I might throw up some really cheap parts on there for you guys to pick up. And you guys can let me know what you think about these lower top hats. Hopefully we can figure out something good with them. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great option for guys trying to seal into the lower part of the manifold. I think it's going to be a pretty cool addition to the injectors sales. So let me know what you guys think. Check out huntertune.com if you want to place an order, and I got the new 550s in stock too, so I'm offering injectors all the way from 550cc, 1000cc, 1500cc, and 2200cc. So I'm covering pretty much all bases, from all motor builds to small eBay turbo kits. I'm recommending those 550s, 1000s for a little bit more power than that. 1500s are the you know, kind of the hot topic, the hot ticket injector that I've been selling, and those injectors are offering power levels up to 650 horsepower, maybe more, depending on how high your fuel pressure is. And those injectors have been doing really good, and they're a great budget injector for guys wanting to run 600 to 700 horsepower. And if you're running more than that, the 2200s are pretty much the only option. So yeah, depending on your goals, guys, I can help you guys out, and I'm glad to give assistance where I can, and I've just been trying to offer the best parts for the money. And yeah, thank you once again for all the awesome support that you guys have given, and just know that it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you again. All right, guys, so I got this completely stock single cam motor right here. It's a stock D16 Z6, and I just pulled the factory fuel rail out of it with the factory fuel injectors. And this is what I was saying with the manifolds. Like, a lot of the tolerances are different from manifold to manifold, and the lower hats fit perfect in a factory manifold. So you can see they just kind of pop right in, no pressing or anything needed. They literally just slide right in. But like I said, some manifolds might have a little bit tighter tolerance, probably to accommodate for the old worn out lower grommets. It kind of will suck them a little bit tighter if they make the lower tolerance a little bit tighter. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. You might have to either press them in or use the O-ring to seal it, depending on what manifold, intake manifold you're using. So, but yeah, that's gonna probably do it for this video. like I said, I wanted to test it out on a couple different manifolds. I wanted to test these hats to see, and I plan on using them on pretty much all of my setups. I'm gonna be converting, I'm doing a turbo build on this little EK coupe right here currently, and you guys know the single cam, the hopefully 10-second single cam is coming up really soon too. So plus I got the GSR outside. I got an aftermarket B series rail that I put these in, or aftermarket B series manifold, and I have two Skunk 2 ones here. One's a B series and one's a D series. The D series one seems to be a little bit tighter, and the B series one seems to be a little bit looser. So and like I said, now we are offering the 550cc injectors, and I think I'm gonna play around with those on a couple different setups. I don't know exactly, like my all motor K24 car, I might swap out the 1000s and try the 550s out. They flow really good in the machine, and I suspect they're going to run really well too, because I actually did test a lot of these 550s out before I started selling the 1000s and 1500s, and they were really good like a year ago when I started using them, but I didn't think people would want to buy them, so I just opted for the 1000s and 1500s. But I figured with how well you guys have been responding to the injector sales, I figured why not offer everything from 550 up. I think it's a good, be able to cater to everybody kind of thing. So, and like I said, I think there's going to be a couple parts on the website here that I might post for the weekend, like the oil catch cans, the 4-port oil catch cans. I haven't really sold a lot of, so I might drop the price down quite a bit, and when they sell out, they sell out. I probably won't reorder those because they haven't really been a hot ticket. We just restocked all the fuel rails, and yeah, just a bunch of stuff going on with the website all the time. So thank you guys for everything that you do, and thanks for all the help, or thanks for all the support. It literally means the world to us, me and Christine. I think she's actually going to be quitting her job, and she's going to be a full-time website manager for huntertune.com. It's crazy how far we've come, honestly. It's such a blessing. So thank you guys. I can't wait to get some more awesome content out, but this one's just going to be quick and simple, showing you guys these new lower hats, and the 550s are now on the site, just to kind of show you this possible solution. And I'm really curious on your guys' feedback, so I can't wait to get some out to you guys. I've already had a couple orders just off of a Facebook post, and like I said, I can't wait to get some feedback and let me know what you guys think. Yeah, thanks again. God bless. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. We'll see you later.